The saddest people I've ever met in life are the ones who don't care deeply about anything at all. Passion and satisfaction go hand in hand, and without them, any happiness is only temporary because there's nothing to make it last. That was said by Nicholas Sparks in the book Dear John, and today I'm here to talk to you about passion. I'm here sitting before you in this first episode of the Passion Lab, here to talk to you about why I chose to interview people and have set out on this journey to learn about people's passions. Now, for a long time, unbeknownst to myself, this has been something I've been doing in my day-to-day life. My now wife told me that this was one of the first things that she appreciated that I did with her and with her friends. She said that as I would ask people about their passions and things that they cared about, it seemed to light a spark in them. And with other endeavors that I've recently been embarking on and trying to achieve, I've realized that this is something I truly am passionate about, as silly as it sounds. I love learning about people's stories. I recently finished the book Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey, which he describes as a eulogy of the first 50 years of his life. And I was talking to someone that I recently met, and she's a coworker of mine, and I was just getting to know her and getting to know things that she liked, and likewise she was doing the same to me. We were getting to know one another, and she said, "Jacob, it seems like you love people's stories." And that's true. I didn't really think of it until she said it, but I said, yeah, I love people's stories. I love hearing what makes people click. I love hearing why they do what they do in their day-to-day life, but also in things that they choose to do that they don't need to be doing. And that seemed like a perfect opportunity to start this project called the Passion Lab, where I am choosing to interview people and get to unlock their passions and their love for things that they do. The thing about passions is there's no guardrails on what you can be passionate about. You can be passionate about soccer. You can be passionate about grass. You can be passionate about shoes. You can be passionate about homes. You can be passionate about cars. Anything under the sun and anything outside of this world even. Anything you can conceive in your mind, you can be passionate about. And that, to me, is beautiful. Because in one way or another, everyone on this earth is passionate about something. And like I said in that quote I read at the beginning of this episode, the saddest people I've ever met are the ones who don't care deeply about anything. And I love that Nicholas Sparks says that passion and satisfaction go hand in hand. I have found so much satisfaction and happiness in my life as I have pursued things that light me up, that get me excited, and that I'm passionate about truly. Passions can be a fleeting thing. They can come and go quickly, or they can stay for a whole lifetime. And so with that, I want to share with you some of my vision for what this podcast, the Passion Lab, will look like. I have a deep desire to share stories in a world-class way that will allow regular people and famous people alike to share things that they're passionate about, to share things that they love, to share things that light them up and bring them the satisfaction that they have in their life. Now, with that being said, it's going to take a long time for me to get good. While I think I am a able communicator, a craft and art like this of podcasting takes practice. Being able to interview someone effectively and get out the stories that are most important are difficult. And even for me, I have a hard time sharing stories in a way that are, let's say, engaging. I often have been told by many friends that I say, oh, here, I have a long story, and it ends up being about a minute and 30 seconds. So in my attempt to share these stories and do justice to these people who have deep passions and care deeply about what they're doing, I will continue to craft a new way and forge a new way of storytelling. I love passions because it shows people a part of them that is raw I think often we do and pursue passions to escape the hard things in this life. Not that escaping the hard things is bad, but it gives us freedom to go and do things that kind of give us an oasis from regular day life. Our everyday life can be difficult, and these passions that people embark on are a way to escape for a little bit. It allows them to chase something that might not be something they do in their day-to-day life, or they do. A passion can be a job, or a job can be a passion. And I think that as we listen to these people and have them share their passions, we will be able to learn many things from them. I'd also like to be able to share how these passions in other people's lives add meaning and purpose to their life. Not only to teach that having passions is important and fun, but also that it truly blesses people's lives. I'm of the belief that when you have something that you truly care about in this life, your life becomes infinitely more meaningful. To go back to what I said earlier, I just finished reading the book Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. And in that book, he talks about when his first child was born. Now, I'm not saying that our passions are like our children when they're first born, but just bear with me on this analogy. When Matthew McConaughey said that his first child was born, he realized that he wasn't just acting and doing his job for himself, but he was doing it for them, and they were living for him. Our children can mean so much to us, and they can light a spark like none other. And I believe that our passions in life can make it worth living for. In this world full of difficult things going on, it's often difficult to want to keep going, especially the mundane things in life that we seem to get in these endless routines of doing the same thing over and over again. Having passions that you can pursue is something that lights up people's lives. It brings a spark. And I want to share just one experience of one time where I was just talking with a friend, and I was able to ask her this question of, what's something you're passionate about? It's a simple question. It's not complex. And I had known this girl for a couple months at this point, I think. I'd felt like I'd gotten to know her really well. And I was just making conversation and getting to know her even more. And I asked her that simple question, and she's like, you know what? Something that I am passionate about is woodworking. And now that kind of caught me off guard, because while it wasn't completely unlikely that she liked woodworking, it just wasn't something that you'd see her and say, oh yeah, I bet that girl loves and enjoys woodworking. And so I said, wow, so tell me more. And that led to a conversation where she went on and told me many things about how she loved woodworking, and how in high school she had made multiple guitars and won contests and traveled with her work and showed it off in different art displays, and how she still had that guitar that she had made, and how it's something that she cares deeply about. And as I just kept listening and kept asking more questions, it just showed me and taught me a lesson at that point that I was truly struck by, that while we think we might know someone and we think that, oh yeah, I feel like I have this person figured out, friends, close friends, there might be things that in their life that you're not even aware of. People are passionate about things and don't always share them on their sleeve. They don't wear them proudly, but they do them softly and quietly. And they care about them. And so being able to be asked about them and have the opportunity to share about things that they care about is something that I think is a beautiful thing. I've had many other opportunities in being able to ask people what they're passionate about. And I think that as I've continued to ask these questions, I've learned more and more things about my friends and about new people and strangers that have really shown me one common theme with this question of what are you passionate about? And that is, people love to share things that they care about deeply. They love to share their story or to share things that matter to them. And so when you ask and you give them a platform to share, they're grateful. Whether that's just a one-on-one conversation or a formal podcast where they can go and share things that they're passionate about, it means a lot to those people. And I honestly love and enjoy listening and being able to learn from those people's experiences and the things that they're passionate about. One thing that I feel the need to share is, as I have been kind of doing, I guess, preparation for this episode specifically, and also just to kind of jump in on this journey, I was curious what the root of the word passion was. And so I looked it up. I looked up the definition, and right there in the Google search page was the Latin root, which was pati, P-A-T-I. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but pati in Latin the root of P-A-T-I means to suffer. And I said, I wouldn't have guessed that a word in our day that means to be filled with enthusiasm in Latin would have meant to suffer. And so I did some more searching and some more research, and I found out that the word pati in Latin was often used to describe the suffering that Jesus Christ endured, and that he did it with purpose. Now, if you don't believe in Jesus Christ, that's okay. And I just want to kind of share what I believe and what happened to Jesus Christ is he was crucified, and he did that, I believe, for all mankind, and he suffered for their sins in an act of love. And as I continued to think about the fact that the word passion, the word that I consider and we use in today's terms as to be enthusiastic and to be very engaged in a certain activity or topic, that it was used in Latin as to suffer. And now if I think back to the event of the crucifixion and death of Jesus Christ, where he rose on the third day, the fact that the word passion was used taught me a lot about our passions in today's day. That it is something that we do because we love it, not because we feel obligated to do it, not because anyone is forcing us to do it, not because it was a command or thing that we had to do, but we merely do these passions and fulfill these passions for the love of it. We do it because it adds meaning to our lives and can add meaning to the lives of other people. Being passionate about anything on this earth is something that helps us to enlarge our character and see the world from a new perspective. As I have gone through my life, I've been passionate about many different things. And just as an example, when I became more passionate, I guess, about reading, the world kind of took on new meaning for me in a way. Now, as an elementary school kid, I did love reading, and it was something that I did regularly and a lot. But in my middle school and high school years, I kind of fell away from wanting to read. I thought it was a waste of my time, and I didn't really enjoy it. And I didn't really care to read all that much. I would maybe read a couple books per year, but that was about it. And around came the COVID-19 pandemic, and I was locked up at home. And so I didn't have a phone at the time, and so I decided to start reading. And that unlocked a world of possibilities for me that I didn't know existed. Stories and lessons that I didn't know I needed to learn. And I continued to look and look. And the first book that I think kind of sparked that for me was the classic by Dale Carnegie called How to Win Friends and Influence People, which can be considered in the terms of the topics of our different sections of books as maybe a self-help book. Now, I've continued to read ever since then and have loved and enjoyed reading, and it's something that I'm deeply passionate about, but has helped me realize that reading is not something that we just merely have to do because it's good for you or it's something that you should do, but it's something I want to do, and I want to do it because of the wonder and the beauty that can be withheld within those books. That is a way that my passion for reading and books has transformed me as an individual. I have continued to read to this day. Like I said, I'm reading many books right now, and as I think about how it's helped me in a way that has I've been able to improve myself. I've been able to learn lessons that I didn't think I needed to know or learn, and it has enlarged, I guess, my understanding of the world. And this can be true for anything. Anything that we put our mind to and that we put effort into is something that can brighten our day and bring us joy and satisfaction. And these passions are so, so great. I have a desire to be able to tell stories. And I'm choosing to do that by trying to share the passions of others. I hope to provide quality information, but I also hope to not be the one talking most of the time. I hope to be able to ask high quality questions that will help guests to bring stories to life that will help provide detail and meaning to what they're saying, so that you as a listener can learn and grow because of their wisdom and their experiences. Now, I don't have everything figured out, and I'll be the first to admit that this is going to be a long and fun journey, but that's the beauty. And so as I close off this episode today, I'd love for you to share with me your passions. What are things that you're passionate about, and how do those things add meaning to your life? Being passionate comes in many shapes and forms. Like I said in the beginning of this episode, it can be anything from being passionate about the grass, to birds, to homes, to podcasting, to photography, to running, to literally anything under the sun and beyond. And so as you think about what you're passionate about, think about how it adds meaning to your life, and see how you can use that passion of yours to maybe bless and serve others. Share your story. Ask people about their passions. Get to know them. And as you do, I promise and I think that you'll be surprised on the things that they share. Now, I'm signing off. This has been episode 1 of the Passion Lab, the pilot, the beginning, and here's to a long, long journey of getting to know people and their passions and sharing them with you. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in episode 2.